Good day everyone, we're here to discuss the It-Bpm engagement.
So what is BPM, or Business Process Management? It's a discipline that encompasses the activities of designing, executing, monitoring, and optimizing business process. It is a systematic approach to improving the efficiency and effectiveness of business process by identifying and eliminating waste and inefficiency. I am protected. Why is the business contract important? How does a contract protect your business? For a contract to be effective, what should be indicated in its term and condition? And therefore, when dealing with a contractor, service provider, how can you protect your business through a contract?
In business, it is important that both the buyer and seller, or the client, and the service provider have a clear understanding of their respective duties and responsibilities. In this module, we will talk about how business partnership between clients are held by properly drawn contracts and how contracts can protect each other's businesses. Client service providing relationships. Outsourcing involves supplying company fully entrusting or turning over the successful delivery of a service formerly handled in-house to either a third party or shared service sector, service provider or vendor. There are several issues at stake here. A client company is normally concerned with quality transition of processes, efficient operation of business function that were once handled in-house. On the other hand, a service provider company is concerned with scope of service, what it will be delivered to the client, perform measures, how it will be assessed by the client. From both parties at stake are sensitive business issues like company reputation and profitability. Scope of service, or what it will be delivered to the client. Performance measures, how it will be assessed by the client. From both parties at stake are sensitive business issues like company reputation and profitability. To address these issues, an It-Bpm contract is created for the benefit of both client or the buyer and the vendor or service provider. As a result of this relationship attributes, the It-Bpm contract is a unique, trailer-fit agreement captured in a document that resembles a performance contract. The It-Bpm contract, an IT Business Process Management or It-Bpm contract, is a formal agreement between a client and the service provider to take over a pre-agreed portion of the client's business operation. This pre-agreed portion is documented in the contract as the scope of work or SOW. The It-Bpm contract with all its attachments, assumptions, and documented agreements is referred to as the Master Services Agreement or MSA. Master Services Agreement. The Master Services Agreement or MSA is covering agreement that summarizes terms applicable to every job order with the service provider. It is a contract that contains generic terms regarding requirements and obligation of the contracting parties, which in this topic are the client and the service provider. It has the following elements: A. Service to be provided. B. Performance management. Issues. Change management. C. Country loss groups. A and B are the operational elements used day to day. Group C generally is just in case terms. Scope of work. The scope of work or SOW describes the specific work to be delivered by when at what cost. It is a formal document that captures and defines the work activities, deliverables, and timeline a vendor must execute in performance of a specified work for a client. The SOW usually includes detailed requirements and pricing with standard regulatory and governance terms and conditions. The SOW can be similar to a job order, is generally an attachment or addendum to a master agreement once the covering terms. May state that in case of terms inconsistency, the SOW or master agreement supersedes.
The IT business process management have 5 core elements. First, service to be rendered or provided as documented in the scope of work. It covers exactly what the client is turning over to the service provider. This can include a whole range of different processes: outbound sales calls, inbound inquiries and subscriptions, and delivering food, flowers, or mail. Any process that the clients wish to have a service provider provide can be included. Second core elements is performance standards expected from the service provider. Service level agreements and key performance indicators. It refers to the criteria that the client finds critical for the service provider to consistently attain. For example, a service provider that takes call for another company regarding directory assistance sets the performance standards at an average of 60 seconds to complete one call. If the agent hits the average, he delivers what is expected from him. He fails and takes more time to finish a call, that makes him inefficient and would incur the company some added cost. Other examples of this include handle time and average handle time for calls, sales volumes attainment whether on the phone or otherwise, customer satisfaction rating. Third core elements is timeline of the contract. It refers to two things: when will the transition starts and for how long the contract will be in effect. It is a detailed schedule of when the transition period starts and when the service providers assume control of the contracted processes. In terms of type or duration, most contracts are typically multi-year contracts. However, when deemed most effective, on-demand contracts may also be put into effect. Fourth core element is cost to the client. It refers to the payment made by the client to the service provider for honoring contractual agreements. Fifth core element is other specific operation requirements. It refers to very specific contractual details that protect both the client and service from ambiguity. It usually covers the following: who will provide the service, qualification of personnel, location of operations, outline of reporting procedures, decision-making and escalation of problems, legal provisions, non-competition, or confidentiality. Taken together, these core elements empower the relationship between the client and the service provider.
Pricing model. Pricing model refer to the methods you can use to determine the right price for your products. Price models take into consideration factors such as cost of producing an item, the customer perception of its value and type of product, for example, retail goods compared to services. They are often visually represented on a chart such as a demand curve. The best pricing model will be the one of the maximized revenue for your particular businesses, and the strategy you use might vary between products and over time. There are two types of pricing model. First, fixed pricing, also known as project-based pricing, involves setting a price for an entire contract or project. This method offers consistency for the customers and might minimize profit if the business can complete the project efficiently. For example, a wedding photographer might use fixed pricing when they charge a set price for a photo package, although the cost of the transportation to the site, hours, and equipment might change, the cost of that service remains the same. For this reason, it is important to analyze the total cost of a product or service and adjust the fixed price accordingly. Second example, time and materials pricing. might be the way to go projects where the scope of work isn't precise. By agreeing upfront of hourly rates, the owner is paying for the work completed and material used. If project changes occur, there is no financial impact on the contractor and no need to renegotiate.
Contract financials, CAPEX or capital expenditure, is a business expense incurred to create future benefit. So expenditure on assets like a building or the physical space, machinery, equipment, or upgrading existing facilities to their value and asset increases. So, capital expenditures or CAPEX are funds used by a company to acquire, upgrade, and maintain physical assets such as a property, plants, building, technology, or equipment. So, CAPEX is often used to undertake new projects or investments by a company. So, the second is OPEX or operational expenditure is the money the business spends in order to turn inventory into output. These are operating, which are used in the production process. Of an operating expense is an expense that a business incurs through its normal business operations, often abbreviated as OPEX. Operating expenses include rent, equipment, inventory cost, marketing, payroll, insurance, step cost, and funds allocated for research and development.
Labor cost is the amount of money a company pays to its employees in wages and benefits for the work they do. Labor cost refers to the total amount of money a business pays to its employees for their work. This includes wages or salaries as well as any additional expenses like benefits, bonuses, and payroll taxes. Labor cost represents a substantial portion of our operating expenses. It is essential to continue monitoring and managing these costs efficiently to ensure they align with our financial objectives. Additionally, efforts to enhance labor productivity and control overtime expenses should remain a focus for the organization. Direct costs are expenses that can be traced directly to a specific product, project, or department. Within a company, these costs are variable, meaning they change in proportion to level of production or the scale of a project. For example, if a bakery is making cupcakes, the cost of flour, sugar, and labor directly related to making those cupcakes would be considered direct costs. Direct costs are a key components in understanding a business's cost structure. By identifying and managing these costs effectively, companies can optimize their operations, improve profitability, and make informed strategic decisions. Direct cost is the money a company spends on a thing directly linked to making a specific product or providing a particular service. Indirect costs encompass a wide range of expenditures, including rent, utilities, office supplies, and administrative salaries. These costs do not tie directly to a single product or service but contribute to the overall operations of an organization. Recognizing and properly accounting for these costs allows organizations to maintain fiscal health and make informed decisions and operate efficiently. Understanding the role of indirect costs is fundamental for successful financial planning and sustainability. Indirect costs are expenses that are not directly tied to a specific project, product, or task but are necessarily for overall business operation like rent, utilities, or office supplies.
Regulatory requirements. These are refers to the rules, standards, and obligations set for by government, agency, or other authorities to govern aspects of business, industry, or individual behavior. Adherence to government regulations. External. Board of Investment or BOI, Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR, Bureau of Immigration, Department of Labor and Employment o DOLE, Pag-ibig Fund, Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA, Security and Exchange Commission or SEC, Social Security Services or SSS, and Data Privacy Law. This government agency is essential to ensure that the business and individuals' compliance avoid potential penalties or consequences. Industry or company regulations, internal. Institutional and operational standards, policies, or guidelines. Service provider implement own regulations. These are the policies and guidelines established by organization to ensure proper functioning, compliance with external regulation, and alignment with the company goal. Board of Investments or BOR. A Republic of the Philippines agency created under the Department of Trade and Industry. It strives to attract direct investments into the country to contribute to economic growth and job creations in the Philippines. Board of Investment is one of the government agency authority to promote and facilitate investment, and it's also an investment promotion agency that grants tax incentives packages to local and foreign businesses operating in the country. BOI qualification. A Philippine enterprise can register their project with the BOI if the proposed activity is listed as a preferred project in the current IPP or Investment Priority Plan. The said enterprise may engage in the domestic-oriented activities in the IPP whether classified as a pioneer or non-pioneer. Pioneer are engaging in the pursuit of agricultural, forestry, and mining activities. Non-pioneer refers to all registered producer enterprise not included in the pioneer enterprise list. We have BOI qualifications to ensure that the individuals or company can effectively oversee the organization investment activities. However, an activity which is not listed may still be entitled to incentives if the following conditions are met. At least 50% of the production is marked for export for 60% Filipino, 40% foreign-owned enterprise, or at least 70% of production is marked for export for more than 40% foreign-owned enterprise. Any outsourcing company is qualified under 100% export. For foreign-owned firms or those whose foreign investment exceeds 40% of the outstanding capital stock who can engage in the domestic-oriented activities can only be registered with the BOI if they propose to engage in an activity listed or classified in the IPP as a pioneer. However, if it fails to meet the pioneer classification, it can likewise option to be an export-oriented firm to qualify for BOI registration. However, this time the export requirements is at least 70% of actual production.
These are the BOR requirements. The first one is DTI registration or sole proprietorship, SEC registration or corporation branch office or the regional headquarters, auditing financial statement and income tax return for the past 3 years, board resolution to authorize company representative, accomplishment application form 501 and project PESA, the creation of the development of a special economic zone throughout the country, and the very competitive incentive available to investment inside PESA special economic zone are embodied in the Special Economic Zone Act of 1995, Republic Act Number 7616, a law passed by the Philippines Congress. PESA is to promote Philippines investment, extend assistance, register, grant, incentive to and facilitate the business or operator of investor in export-oriented manufacturing and service facilities inside select areas throughout the country, proclaimed by the President of the Philippines as PEZA Special Economic Zone. The requirement for PEZA is duly accomplishment and notarized PEZA application form and anti-graft certificate. Corporate profile including that of parent of company if applicable. Board resolution authorizing the filing and designation of a representative. Securities and Exchange Commission SEC certification of registration. Article of incorruption and by the law. If not available, submit draft of article in incorporation. Project brief. Information on market, technical, financial, and management aspect of the project to be received. So what is the mission of PEZA? The mission of PEZA is continue to provide a globally competitive and sustainable business environment through effective management of economic zone, efficiency and administrations of incentive and utmost delivery of service. Qualification for PEZA. Export-oriented enterprise that are found in any of PEZA Special Economic Zone. External regulation requirements. Data Privacy Law, Republic Act No. 10-173, an act protecting individual personal information in information and communication system in the government and the private sector. Creating for this purpose a National Privacy Commission and for the other purposes. Industry-specific regulation, control of communication channels and information system, Article 6, Section 1. The communication channel and information system of the bank shall be controlled to ensure that information obtained within the bank is reliable, complete, traceable, consistent in a suitable format and character to meet the requirements and accessibility by relevant units and personnel in a timely manner. Industry-specific regulation on auditing of partnerships subject to consolidation. In Article 34, Section 1. Banks shall take all necessary measures to ensure that their internal auditing units can inspect all activities and units of their consolidation partnership within limitation.